here on Fire 107.7 FM. I am your host, Angie. And of course, this is Hard Talk, where we discuss the issues that matter. Now, of course, we have to give a warm welcome to all of the individuals who make this program what it is. So I'm going to say a warm welcome to all of the listeners joining me now on the Fire 107.7 FM frequency on your radio. Good afternoon to you guys. I see you. Hi. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day out there today. And those of you joining on the Fire 107.7 FM link, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the broadcast also. Those individuals joining us on the Facebook platform, good afternoon to you as well. Welcome to the broadcast. Today's Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. I do want to extend my apologies in advance. I might not be able to bring you the midday news update for tomorrow, and that is to facilitate my attendance at the funeral services of the legendary Lisa Joseph. You guys know I cannot let my girl go off into the sunset without being there and to support her family and her colleagues and friends. I can't believe that this is still very difficult to talk about. Losing Lisa was a blow, and every time I mention her name, it's like that Celine Dion song. It's all coming back to me now. So I really I'm going to try my best to make it back before the midday news update. But I doubt that I am going to make it, or that I would be in any condition to present the news, but I will try. As always, you have to be a professional in these things, and whether it's hard or not, you have a job to do and you have to get it done. And of course, what will Lisa do? She wouldn't let anything stand in her way of bringing the news to the public, and neither will I. So once again, I want to welcome everyone. I'm seeing people signing in from all over. Those signing in from the UK, good afternoon to you. Those of you signing in from Martinique, good afternoon to you. Here in St. Lucia, in Canada, in wherever you are, Mexico, I don't know. As long as you're listening to Fire 107.7 FM, those of you in the States, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the broadcast. I trust that everyone had a wonderful day. Somebody saying pleasant, blessed Wednesday to you. Gorgeous, Angie. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Miami is locked in. That is wonderful. So we have people signing in from all over the place, from here in St. Lucia, the UK, Miami, Martinique, far and wide. Everyone is here, and thank you. You guys make this job worthwhile. Also, again, just a reminder, tomorrow, the midday news update, which usually comes on at 12 noon. I'm giving you my advanced apologies because tomorrow I will be attending the funeral services of the legendary Lisa Joseph. She will be laid to rest tomorrow. The service will be at the Leclerc Church at 10 a.m. And I am anticipating that I might not make it back in time to deliver the midday news update. Please forgive me. And but I will try my best to be here for Hard Talk. That will go on as scheduled. So, again, welcome to the broadcast, all of you. Today, we need to continue speaking about the issues that matter. And there was a story in the news today, which I have mixed feelings about. So, yesterday, of course, was Tuesday, and on Tuesdays, usually, there is a sitting of Parliament. Now, it actually was the first sitting of Parliament attended by the leader of the opposition ever since the December 1st elections. So, at that sitting of the House, the leader of the opposition, Honorable Alan Shastney, was sworn in, and he did take his place among the parliamentary representatives of our country. But that was not the only significant thing which happened yesterday. No, yesterday, the Prime Minister introduced an amendment to the personal tax laws. And I just want to give you some information on this this new policy, which I think is, in fact, I don't even know what I think about this new policy, honestly, guys, because I remember the Prime Minister saying that the country is not, the tax amnesties, they're not meeting their mandate. They're not bringing in the required results, so to speak. That these tax amnesties, they haven't really met the purpose for which they were introduced. So imagine my surprise when the Prime Minister, after saying that these amnesties aren't really working, introduces new tax amnesties. But there's something else that I forgot, and I just want to, if you would permit me, let me just take a sidebar into this point very quickly. So today is, of course, February 4th. And I did mention Lisa Joseph a minute ago. Today is World Cancer Day. And we spoke at length about the healthcare situation in St. Lucia over the past couple of weeks. We've spoken about, how the primary healthcare facilities are supposed to be used in just enhancing the island's healthcare infrastructure. We've also spoken about the loss of the Cuban medical mission. We've spoken about that is very strange. Somebody's saying we're off the air, but I am seeing here that we are connected. I don't know, because I can see how many people are logging into the airwaves, and it's right there. Are you sure it's not something to do with your radio? I find that very strange. Okay, we're going to look into it. Don't know why I would say that everything is connected and working well if we are off the air, but who knows. Okay, so yeah, back to what I was saying. And today is World Cancer Day. I just want to deal with this quickly before we go into the tax amnesty, the new tax amnesties that the Prime Minister has introduced. And one of our medical professionals, Dr. Remy, Dr. Tamara Remy to be exact, she is sounding the alarm and talking about what is going on with our cancer. Well, just with the status of health on the island. Okay, let me see what's going on here. Um, they're still saying it's off from early morning. I don't. Somebody's saying they're connected. So maybe it is your area. The persons who are saying that the live is off, could you just tell me what areas you are in? Because I I'm seeing that we're connected in the studio. Of course, we can tell. Some people are saying they're connected. So somebody's saying it's fine in Toronto. Those of you who are not connected, are you seeing, are you using the actual radio frequency or are you using the link? Because I don't, I'm seeing everything is connected. Okay. Okay, somebody's saying Kako Babu. No, but are you using the link or are you using the frequency on your radio? Because everything, and I can see both, they seem to be working. Oh, another person is asking what's going on. So it's off on the radio. Okay. Those of you who aren't, the radio has been off. I'm going to have to look into this. I'm going to have to look into this, guys, because I'm not seeing an issue here. Could you switch? The link is working fine. Maybe it's an issue with the transmitter site, but that is showing connected as well. And it's showing connected, guys. I don't know what's going on, but the transmitter is, well, the radio is showing connected. The link is showing connected. Or on Facebook. I really don't know what the problem is, but I promise you, I will have our technicians look into it. Although on my end, I am seeing that everything is working well. All right. Back to our conversation. I'm sorry, guys. I really, I promise I am going to look into it. But the transmitter here is showing it's showing everything is fine. The link is showing everything is fine. So I really don't know what the issue is at this point. Everything is connected. Status shows everything is up and running. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. I really don't know what's going on, but let us continue. No, we're not on Radio Garden as yet. Someone is asking if we are on Radio Garden. No, we are not. Radio Garden, they're not really accepting any new applicants at this point. They're cleaning up they're actually cleaning up their site, and so they've put a pause on adding a new stations. But as soon as that is available, we will be here as soon as possible. All right, this is running. These diagnostics are really distracting me here, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna step away from that for a minute and continue with the broadcast. Those of you who are not getting the broadcast on the radio, I would advise you to switch to the link and or to the Facebook platform so that we can make so that we can continue with the broadcast. Okay, so Dr. Tamara Remy, she is a doctor who works with the Cancer Association, and she is one of their premier specialists and an advocate for cancer screening in St. Lucia. So this is what she had to say on the occasion of World Cancer Day. She's saying that cancer incidence and mortality in St. Lucia have shown no meaningful decline over the past decade. She's warning that without urgent and coordinated action, more lives will be lost. Now, we have some data here from the Ministry of Health, and let me just run through it for you guys really quickly. It says here between 2015 and 2024, a total of 2,000. Another person is telling me about us not being. Okay. Sorry, guys, more people are coming in to ask what is going on. I'm not sure, but I'm going to deal with this as soon as possible because I think it's off in some areas and on in some areas. More people are coming in. Some are saying it's fine. Some are saying not in their area. I don't know what the problem is, but again, we will be looking into it. So let's go back to, okay. Let's go back to the cancer situation in St. Lucia. And it is something that you guys need to really pay attention to, guys, because a lot of St. Lucians, a great many St. Lucians, are dying. They are dying because of cancer. We are losing a lot of our people. And in my opinion, we're losing people that we can't afford to lose. So we really need to take this thing very seriously and ensure that we get ahead of it as soon as possible. So, according to data from the Ministry of Health, between 2015 and 2024, a total of 2,774 new cancer cases were recorded, averaging 276 diagnoses annually. During a similar period from 2014 to 2023, cancer-related deaths totaled 2,364, an average of 236 deaths per year. So like I said, this is serious. This is extremely serious. And we do need to ensure that we do something quickly. Very, very quickly. Dr. Remy is also saying that there's been a 20% increase in cervical cancer. So ladies, this one is for you. Cervical cancer between 2023 and 2024, this has increased dramatically for St. Lucia. And it, according to her, is a clear sign that screening, prevention, and early intervention efforts must be strengthened. It's not all bad news, though. It's not all doom and gloom. But in the last couple of years, there's been a reduction in colon cancer diagnosis. Yes, somebody's sending me some information about Lisa's funeral. Yes, I do know about that. If you had tuned in earlier, you would hear me saying that I wouldn't be able to give the to present the news because of my attendance at that funeral. Yeah, so I do know when the funeral service is, and I will be there. And again, for those of you just tuning in, I'm just letting you know that the 12 o'clock news, the midday news update, will not be aired tomorrow to facilitate my attendance at Lisa Joseph's funeral. Back to the cancer situation, guys. So, as I was saying, we do have a reduction in colon cancer, and it is down 17%. Diagnoses, but that is down 17% among males and 44% among females. So, again, guys, we need to make some serious lifestyle choices. I know that right about now, a lot of UWP supporters are missing that opportunity for health insurance and are feeling a bit, I don't know. A little upset because of this news. But it is something that we all have to deal with. There has been a lot of lives lost because of cancer lately. People have been dying with colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer among men. There are stomach cancers and all of the above. And we really need to take advantage of early screening methodologies. We really need to ensure that we are protected. We have our lifestyle issues. We make lifestyle changes because according to Dr. Remy, we're not doing enough. Now, she's saying here that prostate and breast cancer, they are the leading causes of cancer deaths in St. Lucia, followed by colon, pancreatic, lung, stomach, and cervical cancers. And she's saying these figures mean that the overall incidence of cancer in St. Lucia has not decreased, and failure to act decisively will result in more diagnoses, more deaths, and deeper social and economic strain on families and communities. Of course, she is calling for stronger national focus on prevention, on early detection, early diagnosis, education, advocacy, and emphasizing that these efforts have to be united rather than fragmented. And she's urging the government to strengthen the country's cancer registry. Now, this is something that Dr. Remy has been advocating for a number of years. She's been advocating for a cancer registry which will capture data beyond incidence and mortality, noting that more comprehensive information on cancer is essential to guide national screening policies, treatment and protocols, and program audits. She's asking for continued collaboration between government and civil society, saying that it is critical to amplify local cancer fighting initiatives. Now, she did touch on the what's it called? Universal healthcare. You guys would recall that you've been hearing these advertisements for cancer screening at health centers a lot. I heard one that said people I heard one which advertised mammograms for ladies given free at the health centers, which I think is a very good initiative. So, I mean, I know cancer is something private to everyone, and it seems to be almost like the leading, well, it doesn't seem to be, it is. Cancer is the leading cause of death, among St. Lucians for a number of years. It has overtaken diabetes and hypertension. You barely hear people dying of strokes anymore. All you hear is this person had cancer. In fact, just recently, this week, I came from work and my mom said, "Hey, do you know that this neighbor died?" And I'm saying to myself, how this individual, I just saw this individual a couple weeks ago coming from work. 2 or 3 days in a row, this person looked great. The person looked okay. And then she says, well, no, he died. And then speaking to another neighbor, I'm saying, what must be the cause? Maybe it was a stroke. And he said, no, he's been sick for a while. He had cancer. Also, I have to admit, I mean, with Lisa, it hit me quite, I don't know. I think I can't even speak about this one because this one is really still so fresh. You know, guys, we need to pay attention. Our health is our wealth. It is what will enable us to be here to do the work that needs to be done. And we really need to start doing the work, okay? Because it's not going to get done by itself. Now, today, as I said, is World Cancer Day. And in light of this, I mean, there have been reports that the Universal Healthcare Initiative has been expanded, and it is providing screening in the health centers for prostate, breast, and cervical cancer. I must urge you, St. Lucians listeners, wherever you are, please take advantage of these screening opportunities. I know there is a fear when it comes to cancer. People are afraid to do the test because they are afraid of the potential result. But and there are several instances where persons find out that they have the disease and they simply just fall apart. And I know that it's a concern. It is a possibility. But I'm of the opinion that if you don't know what to fight, if you don't know what the problem is, you cannot search for a solution. So I urge you, wherever you are, whoever you are, in whatever part of the world that you are living in, please do what is necessary to stay healthy. Ensure that you participate in this cancer screening, whatever is available in your neck of the woods, for yourself, for your family. I urge you on this World Cancer Day to just face your fears. Because if I see that the potential or the possibility of being diagnosed with any sort of cancer is not the scariest thing ever, I would be lying. You know, I myself have lost family members, yes, members more than one, to the dreaded disease. And it's never easy to deal with, guys. It doesn't matter what anyone says to you. This is not easy to deal with. It is a difficult situation just to imagine. It's scary just to imagine. But you really need to do what is necessary to ensure your health is protected. We have some people chiming in on the live here. Somebody is saying early detection is key. Another says, good day, Angie. Missed you yesterday, but I listened to the show afterwards. It was a hot topic. Everyone's contribution was welcome. I also agree that the UWP should stay on the silent side and let the mystery man, PJP, govern in his style of not being transparent. Well, another one says St. Lucian males need to break the stigmatization in the fear of the process in screening for prostate cancer. We lost the opportunity for cancer awareness and treatment by not electing the UWP party and adopting their health benefits. Somebody says, just lost 2 good friends to cancer. It is heartbreaking. It is. Another one says, I am a survivor for 11 years now, and I say thank God for early detection and sincerest gratitude to Dr. Remy. Guys, this is a tough topic that I didn't expect to be this tough. Oh, somebody's saying, I had a biopsy done to both of my breasts once I did 20 years ago, and I just did one in January. So, guys, I mean, having to deal with this is nerve-wracking. I have thankfully never had a scare, and I think it's because I am going to be honest here and reveal that I am scared to death of even finding out that I could be diagnosed. I know the fear that comes with just a diagnosis because I suffer it myself. But after reading this data from the Ministry of Health and just listening to Dr. Remy, I have had occasion to interview her in the past on a former World Cancer Day initiative. She works very closely with the St. Lucia Cancer Society. And in speaking to her and seeing how passionate she is in advocating for early detection, it almost made me want to go and get tested, but I have to admit that I have not done so. But I swear this year, 2026, is going to be the year that I don't know, take the bull by the horns and look at this because, I mean, like many St. Lucians, I do have a family history of cancer. And I mean, I've had caused occasion to speak to several women who are cancer survivors. And these women are strong. These women, I mean, I look at Lisa going through this day in and day out, still coming to work, still getting the job done, still not letting anything stand in the way. And I wish I could say that it gives me the strength that I would be able to do this. But guys, your girl is a coward. I will not lie to you. But it is necessary. I do know better. And I always have very low tolerance for persons who know better and still do or don't do what is necessary. So I am praying that this year I get the strength and the courage, because you need courage. Some of us. Others, you guys are brave and I salute you. But another group that is severely affected are the men. And today I want to speak to all of the men. If me, with my coward self, can begin to think about taking this step, you guys can do it too. Okay, you're stronger than me, you're bigger than me. You can do this. And don't think that women, the leading cause of cancer is breast cancer, so we men are exempt. No. Unfortunately, men are at risk for breast cancer as well. This isn't a joke. Men are at risk for breast cancer. It may not be what you want to hear right now, but it is the truth. And we need to pay attention to this. And also, prostate cancer is one of those that is cutting a swath through our men in St. Lucia. So I urge you guys, I'm working up the courage to go and do some serious cancer screening. And I want you guys to do it with me. You know, a lot of men, like one of the, somebody saying, Angie, that's an even bigger reason for you to get tested, having the history in your family. And believe me, I'm a bigger quapper than you. It took me a little over a month to muster the courage to go get tested. And then, God, I did. I caught it very early. Wow. I don't think you're really trying to encourage me there. Why would you tell me this? I'm just kidding. Why would you tell me that you were scared to go, and then when you went, you got the dreaded diagnosis? Really? You need to work on your encouragement skills there, girls. Don't do this to me. I'm kidding, guys. But yeah, somebody saying, Angie, you should go. If you don't screen, you will never know. And that is true. And I want the men to do it with me. I want the men to go and get the screening, you know. Somebody says, go for it this month, my dear. Early detection is the best. I have been diagnosed twice with breast cancer, and now I'm standing strong because of early detection. Wow, you must be our person of the year. I would have died the first time. I'm kidding. Not, okay, maybe I would have fainted. I don't know. But I always say that I'm like a tea bag. When you put me in hot water, that's when you see my strength. So you guys, please, the men, I am making a special appeal to the men to go get tested. And all of the other ladies out there who are listening to my voice, those of you like me who are afraid of this, let's just do this in honor of Lisa. That's what I'm asking, St. Lucia. In honor of Lisa Joseph, in honor of this brave woman who, you know, got this diagnosis, but never, not once, allowed it to slow her down. And there's another special woman in my life who I think I will get a diagnosis in honor of, and that's my older sister. Her name was Sharon. It was really strange, guys. My older sister, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, but didn't stop her every day calling me and making sure that I was being safe and I was taking care of myself. And when I fell apart because of her diagnosis, she was the one saying to me, God is in control, not you, you know? And she didn't falter once until, near the end, because she had a relapse. And that was when she really got really bad and passed away. But the whole time she was dealing with this, she was my strength. I remember when I got the news, I got it from another sister of mine. And when I started freaking out, she says, hold on, before you freak out, you already, before you start freaking out, call her, talk to her. And I called her, and she just made me strong. So in honor of these two women, my sister, my dearly departed older sister, and my friend Lisa, we need to go and get this early screening done. So I'm making a pledge to you guys, and just to make sure that you know that I have done it, I will come back here on the show and I will tell you when I've done it. I'm not going to. I'm going to make an appointment. I'm going to go. I'm going to get tested, and I'm going to tell you guys, I've done it. And when the diagnosis comes, whatever it may be, I am going to come here and I am going to tell you. So I'm urging and I'm encouraging all of my listeners, guys, we need you. We need your strength. We need your guidance, because that's what a man is supposed to be, right? A guide, a protector, a guide, a pillar of strength for his family. We need that. We're losing our young men in droves because they don't have the support from older men. And you guys cannot be their support if you are not there. So please, guys, on today, February 4th, 2026, World Cancer Day, let's make a pact. Let us all go out and get tested in honor of anyone in your family who has gone through this disease. Those who've made it, those who we've lost. And let's try to make the lifestyle changes that are going to take us from being the leading cause of death to a footnote in St. Lucia. So somebody is saying here, Angie, my partner's family member suffered so much from this disease due to the effects of treatment, and not wanting to be a burden to her children, chose to end it through medical assistance in dying. I have never seen her, but cried so much because she was a good soul. Wow. This is not the first that I've heard of people doing things like that. Somebody says, Angie, the tongue has power. Another one said, I agree wholeheartedly. Get tested in honor of Lisa Joseph. Another one is saying, before they were not doing mammograms for persons under 50, but that is no longer the case because younger and younger persons are being diagnosed with breast cancer. Ladies, do your mammograms, ultrasounds, and also your pap smears. Yes. Yes. Your mammograms, your ultrasounds, and your pap smears, guys. I'm not, well, I I have done cervical cancer testing before, but it's the breast cancer testing. That's the one that I am scared of. It's the mammogram. But if I can get over my fear in honor of the ladies in my life who've gone through it and come through it, then you guys, the men especially, you can do it too. And we need you. We do need you. And in order for you to be there with us, you need to know that you're okay. You know, prostate cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, these cancers are killing our men, and we really need, as a nation, to change the mindset, the stigma attached to testing, especially for prostate cancer. You know, it is invasive, it is strange, it is weird. But that few seconds of discomfort, it can save your life. Think of your kids, think of your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your siblings. Do this for them, you know, because they need you to be around for them. Who's going to protect them and guide them and care for them if you are not here, men? A lot of the men in St. Lucia, they haven't really taken their place in our society, and we need that. And the ladies, historically, ladies are always more unafraid when it comes to health screening. You see the ladies, you go to a diabetic clinic and you see young, vibrant ladies coming to check to make sure that they're okay. And then you see men on their deathbeds, so to speak, because that is when the men come out to see the doctor. When they have absolutely no choice, when they are 2 seconds away of the pearly, from the pearly gates, that is when men historically go to the doctor and get screened and stuff. And I do know that at the introduction of the national health insurance was a way to encourage persons to take advantage of all of these early detection processes that we have. We may not have the national health insurance, but we still have to use the resources at our disposal. Now, also, I want to caution those of you, because a lot of us get psyched out when we think about these things, and I know a lot of people will be going to the health center and saying, "Oh, the line was too long. I couldn't do it." Don't think about that. When you get there, get it done. Okay, guys, this is important. This is really important. And I am making a plea. If you can hear my voice, please get tested, get screened for cancer, because it's killing our people, and we really don't want this to continue. So now that we have made this important announcement today on World Cancer Day, we can shift a little bit, because you guys are getting me a bit teary-eyed thinking about all of this doom and gloom, according to the Prime Minister. I'm going to take a short commercial break, and we're going to be right back, because we are going to be delving into this new tax amendment, guys. Stay tuned.
You already know the power of Licks products on your clothes and household. You licked your whites and colored clothes, leaving them fresh and scented. You licked your dishes and left your hands protected with vitamin E. You licked your floors, even licked your toilet. Now we expand and bring you 3 new scents in our fabric softener: Balmy Sunshine, Summer Sunshine, and Thousand Flowers. And licks those stains off of colored clothes with Licks Curler Safe Bleach. Licks went even further with Bondi Care body soap bars in deodorant and antibacterial. So Licks tiredness and bacteria out and refresh your tired body. Your products giving you Licks? Then choose Licks from Today Distribution Inc. Available at all leading supermarkets.
Okay, you're here. You're listening to Fire 107.7 FM. And this is Hard Talk. And we are discussing... my nose is running. I don't know why. We are discussing the new personal tax amendment that was just initiated by the government of St. Lucia. I do have a story here about this tax amendment that I want to read to you guys. So, as I said earlier, there was a sitting of the House yesterday, Tuesday, February 3rd, and this sitting, at that sitting, somebody's asking me, Angie, I have we have a call on the line. Let me get to the caller. We're going to get to that question later on. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie and listeners. Before you dive into that, what you said you will talk about, the tax, the
new personal tax laws.
Voila.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. It's very good to take your mammogram. That's what you say, mammogram,
Mm-hmm.
your pap smear, and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask, if somebody does that and they find out they has, the problem, I don't want to say the cancer, let me say it right.
Mm-hmm.
What will happen afterwards? That's what I want to know. It's very good because Alan Chesney was putting on an insurance so that, you could pay, when you find out your sickness, you could pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know, when someone, not you, someone comes to find out that that person has a cancer, right now in St. Lucia, you pay for everything.
That's true.
Even for your operation, even for the nail, when your foot is broken, you pay for it. What will happen? Because you see me, where I live, every year I get a letter so that I could go and take that mammogram. And if I do not go, the people, I have a problem with them because one day, while testing me, the nurse just turned around and asked me, do you have people in your family that has cancer? Angie, I got weak on the chair.
I can imagine.
Very weak.
I can imagine.
I asked, why did you, right away I said, but why did you ask me that? Did you see something? Right away. She said, no, but there's a little, just asking. There's a little lump. So they send me and take take a little stump.
A biopsy?
I forgot
It's called a biopsy.
Voila. And send it, you wait for a while, and it came back. Angie, I was worried until I got the result. You heard what I say?
Oh my goodness. I would be the same.
Yes.
Like I have told you guys on here, I am the biggest coward ever when it comes to these things. I almost lost my job when I was working as a this is serious. I almost lost my job because the nurse at the Dairy So Health Center asked me to help her so that she could put some stitches in a lady's hand. This lady had cut off. It was so bad. She cut her hand almost in half. I don't know what she was doing. And she came to the health center for stitches. She had wrapped the hand up and she said she needed stitches. And the nurse was the only one there. And myself, I was doing reports. And she said, Miss Charles, I need your help. Come.
Okay.
And I was supposed to be holding the lady's hand still so that the nurse can administer the stitches.
Can attend to,
I swear to God, guys, I swear to God, every time that needle went in that lady's flesh, I was screaming. It wasn't me. I didn't know. I didn't even realize I was doing it till the nurse started yelling at me, saying that I was scaring the patient. And the patient was comforting me. The patient was saying, okay, it's okay. I can't feel it. She numbed my hand. I can't feel it. But that needle was going into her skin and I was screaming. So I can understand. They would have to put me to sleep. I know they would have to put me to sleep if they ever wanted to get a biopsy from me. Now, funny enough, my younger sister did a biopsy and she came. I said, how was it? Because I was so scared. I was trembling. And she said, I didn't feel a thing. It was a little pinch. I didn't feel a thing. Me?
Yes. Wasn't too bad.
But I will try.
I was like you. Yeah. I was like you before. Not even a little blood test. For you to see me, the nurses telling me, calm down, I'm relaxed. They feeling the tension in me. But it's normal. Because you see, in where I live, they send you for what will I say? How will I say that? They send you for a checkup of everything, So I'm accustomed of seeing they full in them little bottles with blood. I watch it. But before I used to close my eyes. But right now I'm accustomed because every 3 months they send you for to check on different things, as you say, on your body, I forgot the name in English. They send you to check a complete checkup, voila. So they take, they know what they want, they write it, and then you see the nurses take out maybe 8 or 9 little flacons of blood, and they search for what they want from it. So it's true what you say. It could save lives going to take that test, but I just want to say no. After the test, what will it be if you learn you have it? Because Alan was put, that's the same insurance I have in Matnik. The same thing what Alan, you do as you please. You put your eye, you go, your teeth, your everything, you're covered. You're covered. Yeah. But people who has very good work, they will not pay for that. But poor people they see how much you touch every month, and on that they will give you that insurance. Voila, that's what I want to say. But it's good to go and find out, especially as you say, you have a family. If you were in Matnik, since you have a family, you'll do it every 6 months, every year, and not a year. Yes, they are close to these people like you, since your family have that problem. You are being cared of quicker and less months. Like me, if I haven't got, I will be every year. But you, if you have family, you will do it every 6 months, so that they will be, they ask you questions of your family, of your sickness, of everything, and they're in charge of you because of your family having that cancer. So it's good to go, as you say, and check so that you will know. But some people don't go. I stop, but when I started, they quarrel after. They quarrel after you. Why did you stop? You are filling your life. Voila. That's what I want to say.
But you made a very good point, caller, when you first called. You said after you've done the screening and say, God forbid you get the diagnosis, what do you do? And that's just, I honestly, I have no idea. I remember Lisa talking about how expensive it was to do this. She was saying that every time she got her paycheck, that's where it would go, to her treatments, and it's very expensive.
Yes,
And
yes, Angie.
unfortunately,
It's nice knowing. It's
yeah,
nice knowing, but don't tell me when knowing you cannot do anything. You just home waiting to die. That's what I would like to know. When you get to know, you could be taken in charge, but what? How? What? Who will help you? That's all I'm interested, because we will not buy your cancer.
yeah,
You know you have it, but what is being in place for you
yeah.
to get better? That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for
Anyway,
that.
we
That
need to do something. Thank you, Angie. And
yes,
when you are going home, be careful.
always.
Ali,
Thank you. Yeah, bye
bye
bye.
bye. Yes.
Now, the caller makes a very, very good point, and we have some people on the live. Let me just read this. Somebody says, Angie, I have a question. Did all the 600 caregivers get their permanent jobs, or are they still on contracts? Well, as per the announcement, they are still on contract because the permanent jobs don't come into effect until I think March or May of this year. It 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 has not been. I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I do know for a fact that the permanent contracts don't come into effect until either May or March. I'm not sure. I have to double check. But I know it definitely was not January or February. So they are still on contract, but the exact date I will have to do some research and get you the right information. Also, somebody else is saying, yes, Angie, this lady is so right. Every year, NHS UK sends a letter in the post for complete cancer screening. Another one said, caller, that's a very good question. With universal healthcare, which covers the screening, what's in place for those who test positive? These are very, very important questions, guys. Very important questions. And you would think that the general public would have thought about these things before they went to the polls, considered all of these things before they went to the polls, and made the decision that they did. But unfortunately, nobody did. Nobody did. And hindsight is always 2020 in these areas. So it's always after the fact, after you've made that fateful decision, then you have a Britney Spears moment and you go, oops, I did it again. But at that time, it's too late. Like the old people say, too late shall be your cry. We have, unfortunately, a situation where, yes, measures have been put in place for cancer screening, but no measures have been put in place for cancer care. The St. Lucia Cancer Society does its best. I saw there are support groups, but the financial burden of cancer is some of the reasons why some individuals say to their families, listen, I'm not going to take the treatment. Save your money for your future. And I do remember this one case of a lady who lived, I think, in the CDC, who was a mother and who found out that she was diagnosed with cancer, and this lady chose to end her life rather than put her children through all of the emotional and financial burden and strain that comes with a cancer diagnosis. As much as you need early detection, there is also a serious need for psychosocial support and financial support in dealing with a cancer diagnosis. You understand? People need help. People are afraid of this because this is a numbers game. If you don't have the finances, you might as well not know, because like a very good friend of mine told me, all you're going to do is worry. And according to my friend, worry is like a rocking chair. It brings you back and forth, but it doesn't really take you anywhere. And what is the use of free cancer screening in our primary healthcare facilities if that's all you get? When you get that dreaded diagnosis, where do you go? What do you do? Who do you turn to? That is the reality of the situation. To the doctors, early detection is key. Somebody saying that's where Shas Health Insurance would have kicked in. St. Lucians, wake up. I'm so sorry to let you know that even if they wake up, they've already made that bad decision. And you notice that when the Prime Minister went to the Congress, World Congress on Racial and Ethnic Health Disparities, while he spoke about non-communicable diseases killing our population, while he spoke about accidents putting a strain on our healthcare services, and while he spoke about rainwater harvesting and sustainable farming, he never once spoke about the financial burden of healthcare. He never once talked about providing some sort of cushion for persons dealing with these diseases. He spoke about getting monies to commission the hospital, but didn't care how average citizens would pay for the hospital bills. And that is the difference between politics and leadership. A leader ensures that all the moving parts to make the clock tick are in place. A politician, he paints a pretty picture so that it will warm the cockles of your heart and you are going to get taken in. And today on World Cancer Day, which one would you rather have, St. Lucia? A politician or a leader? Because I know which one I would rather have. I listened to the Prime Minister. I played it here. In every forum where he has spoken, not once has he given a thought to how people survive in this economic climate. Rather than think of ways to help people deal with the rising cost of living, he's talking about increasing the prices or the price of pipe-borne water, a service that so many St. Lucians, regardless of the fact that they pay their bills on time, they go without on a daily basis, sometimes for months. I've had persons come on here and say to me, we've had no water in this area for 3 months. We've had no water in this area for 2 months. We've had no water in this area for so many weeks. And instead of just talking about having proper services, ensuring that every house has a consistent and steady supply of water, he is speaking about increasing the price of water. And after he's speaking about increasing the price, after he talks about increasing the price, then he says, well, St. Lucians are asking for better services from WASCO. Then he describes it as a chicken and egg situation. Now, you guys know I don't like to tell you these things without bringing you the clips associated, because I don't want anyone to say that I am a political hack. You know, I've been accused of worse, I can tell you that. But I really don't want anyone to say that this is all about politics and I'm being a hack and I'm criticizing for criticizing sake. But the words that I am speaking, they actually came from the mouth of St. Lucia's Prime Minister. Somebody is saying the man said, plant what you eat, so why would he? Look, now he's saying to us Lucians, harvest water. God alone knows what he will come up with next. It's mind-blowing. But I do have these clips open where the Prime Minister, and I can play them for you, the Prime Minister is being questioned about WASCO. And you know, this man goes on a rant. I think he just answers his own questions. Somebody's asking me, are you surprised for the water? No, I'm not. But how are we to pay for water? And you realize he came on a tangent about taxes, 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 taxes. He was asked by a reporter about his financial policies, and he talks about taxes. That's all he talks about, taxes. I wonder if the Prime Minister understands that in life, certain things are a domino effect. Let me explain what I mean by that. If an individual is not healthy, this individual cannot work. If this individual cannot work, this individual cannot earn money. If this individual cannot earn money, this individual cannot pay taxes. Domino effect, it starts with your health. Before we go to health, we talk about water. Water is essential not just for health, but for life. Do you know that the human body can spend days without food, can spend weeks without food, but only days without water? Now I want to take you back, and I know some people get very agitated and very upset with me whenever I take you to these forums where the Prime Minister speaks. But guys, bear with me because, again, we need to understand exactly what is happening in our country. So let's go back to this press briefing where the Prime Minister speaks about the Wasco situation.
The indication of how many phases are there and when the final.
Sorry, not Wasco. He is actually answering a question about the. He's being asked a question about St. Jude Hospital. So it's still on our topic today. It's healthcare. The same hospital that he said to us that has been handed over, he came back and said he told the Congress on Racial and Ethnic Health Disparities that it was commissioned. Now he's saying to the press and to the St. Lucian public that he needs money to commission. So we don't know where we are with the commissioning of this hospital. And he's being asked a very important question. How many phases? Because you guys said phases. How many phases will there be in the commissioning process? And what is the timeline on these phases? And let us listen to his answer.
The phase will come to an end.
First of all, I know you don't like me to say that, not you, but some people hypocritically want me to say I know everything. You know, I'm not going to say that. I depend on the experts. The experts will tell me the phases.
So they haven't told you yet?
I know the physiotherapy world and the dialysis world are being done as we speak. The rest will come in phases. I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
You don't mean that.
No problem, sir. Moving on, I heard you speak about the challenges with Wasco.
You have you noticed Rihanna's haircut?
I have noticed it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I have noticed. On the issue of Wasco, I heard you speak about the issues with Wasco. You said that it would take millions of dollars to fix the challenges with Wasco.
Millions.
I know that we have foreign direct investment for several things. How do we feel about foreign direct investment to fix challenges with Wasco?
Okay, let me tell you something that we've just done in the cabinet. The cabinet has formed a committee to look at a different arrangement for Wasco. You may recall, you know, and probably you may be a little too young for that. You may recall that in a past Labour Party government, we began to deal head first with the issue of Wasco, the corporatization of Wasco. The opposition turned it into privatization, and there was a whole hue and cry about it. That was never happening, right? At that time, the Labour Party had the vision to know that Wasco could not continue as it was continuing now. We understood that vision, and we talked about making a corporate entity. We were criticized by the opposition in no uncertain terms. The usual short-sightedness. Right now, Wasco is in a situation where we have to find a solution for it, and the cabinet has formed. We've got several proposals, and the cabinet has formed a committee, a cabinet committee with technocrats to deal with a permanent solution to the issues of Wasco. But as we speak.
So the Prime Minister, I mean, really, sometimes when you listen to these individuals, you wonder who they are speaking to. You wonder who they are addressing. The initiative that the Prime Minister is alluding to is some time ago. I think it was during the last Kenny Anthony administration, or maybe the one before. I might not be remembering this correctly. But there was a plan on the table to sell Wasco, I think, to a French company. And that was vehemently opposed by the UWP. Now, I don't remember the company, but I do remember this plan being aired out in the public sphere and lots of discussion on it, that the government at the time, the Kenny Anthony administration, wanted to sell Wasco to a French company. This was, yeah, I think I'm remembering it quite well. And this was vehemently opposed. But I know there are other people on the live who might remember what I'm talking about. But they went ahead and took Wasco from WASA, the Water and Sewerage Company, the Water and Sewerage Authority, and turned it, they wanted to privatize it. Yes, they wanted to privatize Wasco. It wasn't the opposition, the UWP, who said the words privatization. It was the Labour Party government. They were the ones. They didn't say commercialization. They said privatization. Because I remember there was a French company who wanted to acquire Wasco. And I remember Guy Joseph, I think, talking about this initiative. Now, I just did a quick Google search. Let me read it to you. It says, privatization involves transferring ownership of state-owned assets to private individuals or companies, whereas commercialization involves reorganizing state-owned enterprises to operate as profit-making ventures while the government retains ownership. So the plan that the SLP had was not, in fact, commercialization. What they had, because a French company was coming in to acquire Wasco, it was indeed privatization. Mr. Prime Minister, we fact check. We fact check. So don't try to fool us again, please. Now, they turned Wasco from WASA, the Water and Sewage Authority, to Wasco, the Water and Sewage Company. But I think all they did was change the name. The infrastructure at Wasco remains the same. Wasco is now a dumping ground for political appointees. And We don't even know who is on the board of WASCO. Normally, it used to be that whenever a new board was appointed, the names will aired out in the public sphere, but I can't remember when the last time. I can't remember the last time that this was done. I don't remember. And here is this prime minister pretending as if people have short memory spans, cannot remember, cannot understand, don't know the difference, or don't understand words. Let's go to somebody says, wait to hear more taxes on us. Remember, he said he needs X amount for the hospital. Yes, that amount was 50 million US dollars. Another person is saying, Tansawi. Somebody says, right now is not the science. Another says, Angie, he cannot answer the question the reporter is asking him. Everything is a joke for him. Somebody saying, don't forget damn the dam. Another is saying, PJP, you had to learn the word vision from our opposition leader. Somebody says, that's not true. You all said damn the dam to Sir John. Another says, after 4.5 years, the Labour Party still calling Shah's name. Troop, son, Philip, do your job. Another is saying, Labour Party and vision in the same sentence? What? My goodness. Somebody's saying, Angie, that's why we have to question the Prime Minister's credibility. After 5 years in office and a so-called election mandate, but yet he deflects from the question and blaming the UWP, shaking my head. Well, guys, I am not surprised that the Prime Minister believes that the only way he can make sense is to blame somebody else or shift blame or play the blame game when he's asked credible questions. But if you are correct, Mr. Prime Minister, and you need to answer this question, you need to make this clarification. You claim that the plan was to commercialize WASCO. If that is the case, why was there a French company looking to acquire WASCO? Because that is not commercialization. That is privatization. And if that is what you mean by commercialization, then I guess you want us to believe that our ports, Port Castries and Port Soufrière, are now commercialized? Is that what you want us to believe? Because in my view, they have been thoroughly privatized. What say you, Mr. Prime Minister? Because commercialization is taking a state-owned asset, streamlining it, updating it, and allowing it to run as a profit-generating entity. Privatization is putting that state-owned asset into the hands of private individuals or a private company and letting them run that country, that asset, where they are the owners and not the government. That is the difference. That is the fundamental difference. And don't try to confuse the public in order to make yourself look good. So we have poor water infrastructure. We have poor health infrastructure. And we are inundated with health issues. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? You see, this is why I have an issue with the commercial changes that this government makes whenever they come out with a new policy. Somebody says, Angie, now he said that he has the monies for the commissioning of the hospital. Yes, he did say that as well. He says that later on in the clip, that he has the money. He also said that he has fiscal surpluses. But if you have fiscal surpluses, a surplus means you have extra money. You have savings in the bank. You've done so well that you have money in the bank. Why are you out there begging for cash? Why are you looking to borrow? You have surpluses. But I'm going to let you guys listen to it because I don't want to be the one who is deemed an enemy of the state, a hack, spewing propaganda. Somebody says, I'm not surprised that anything SLP does. Whenever they're in power, Lucian's at the worst. Yet still we keep voting them. I'm so tired of this. No Shas, no vote. Wow. Strong words there. Let's listen to the Prime Minister's explanation of what his plans were for Wasco. And let's listen to the situation that Wasco is in now.
Wasco is in dire debt. Wasco is in dire circumstances. And I can tell you, the government has subsidized Wasco for the last year of $1.2 million, $1.1 million every month. Government has been subsidizing Wasco for the last year. And if I can tell you this, the source through the CIP.
Sticking on the Wasco front, like you said, it's going to take a lot of money to get Wasco back on its feet. And Wasco did apply for a tariff increase, submitted an application to the NERC.
To the NERC, yes.
However, and correct me if I'm wrong, I cannot find any recent financial audits of Wasco. How does Wasco, the government, justify increasing or wanting to increase tariffs?
The government doesn't justify it. The NERC.
Well, what is the government's thoughts on this?
Well, the government, you may not know that the government is one of the biggest clients of Wasco, and we have to pay our bills. The government is one of Wasco's biggest clients. We pay our bills. The NERC, and I know that there's been the NERC has an application as to where it stands with the NERC. It's something I think it's been spoken of, but I will agree with the public if they say that they want the services of Wasco to improve. I agree with them, but it's a chicken and egg situation, right? Wasco needs revenue. Water in St. Lucia is at a very moderate rate. But what people are saying is they want to get a better service before they pay more for water. And that's what I'm saying to them, begin to harvest water. You know?
I don't want to come on here and laugh. But you heard it. You heard it. Somebody's asking, PJP, is it money for your boys at Wasco? Another is saying, who's on the NUC board? And of course, the NUC is the National Utilities Regulatory Commission. And they are the ones who decide if a utility company, meaning Wasco, Lucelec, Digicel, Flow, they are the ones who sit in judgment of whether or not a utility company will be given the okay to raise their prices. Now, we know that water in St. Lucia is not priced that exorbitantly, but there are circumstances. Somebody's asking me, do you know why I'm tired? I am tired as well. Trust. So, I mean, the Prime Minister is being asked about Wasco. The reporter is saying, you're saying to us that the government is subsidizing Wasco. You're saying that government puts millions of dollars into Wasco every year, over $1 million every month. But I cannot find an audit for Wasco, a financial audit for Wasco anywhere. And I know a lot of you missed that part of the conversation. That is a very important point. A financial audit of the water and sewage company would enable St. Lucians to understand where the money is going. You can't just come in here and say, hey, I've been given this money. Wasco's not doing well. It's not doing well. We've been giving them money every month. Where's the financial audit? Wasco is a government entity, a statutory body, right? Or it's supposed to be. Although I did hear the Prime Minister refer to it as his water company. So I'm trying to figure out, is it his personally or does it belong to the St. Lucia Labour Party? Because when you have the CEO sitting on the Electoral Commission, what message are you sending? So, yes, Wasco is supposed to be a statutory body owned and operated by the government of St. Lucia. But there are no financial audits of Wasco anywhere. Yet, the Prime Minister is saying to us, Wasco is in dire straits. His words, not mine. Wasco is in dire debt. And Wasco needs financial assistance. So, Maybe that's the question we need to be asking, St. Lucia. Don't you think so? Don't you think it is time that the government of St. Lucia allows for a financial audit of WASCO? Don't you think it's time that the St. Lucian people find out where the money is going? Because successive governments have been, if the Prime Minister is to be believed, footing the WASCO bill. So, what say you, St. Lucia? Should we be asking our government for a financial audit of the water and sewage company to figure out what we have been paying for? Should we demand that the financial audits of WASCO be tabled in Parliament? Is this something that you think St. Lucians should begin to think about? Somebody just sent me a very interesting heads up about the Nook, but this is something that we are going to have to take a look at in a subsequent broadcast, because this version of Hard Talk is all about the issues affecting St. Lucia, health issues and financial issues. So I think it's worthwhile that we demand that the government provides us, the St. Lucian public, with a financial audit of WASCO so that we can tell for ourselves. And I think this audit needs to be tabled in the Parliament, because WASCO is a government entity. Don't you think so, St. Lucia? Let's go to the Facebook. Let's see what's going on. Somebody says, right now, when I hear these utterances from PJP, I don't even get upset. I feel sad. This is heartbreaking. Somebody else is saying, oh my days, what a joker PM. CIP money in WASCO, and it's so poor, so the collected billions in CIP. Angie, the Red Boys are in big trouble all over. All of a sudden, CIP money spent in WASCO. Watch the space. Trump is coming. Somebody says, Angie, check who is on the board and check the structure of the Nook. Another says, Angie, the money going in the Harry Bank. Hey, you don't know that. These are unsubstantiated reports. Another says, we need to demand audits for everything, including potato seeds. Another person says, they are putting their hacks in positions with no experience. Another says, Angie, this government has financial audit on what? Another says, CIP reports cannot be tabled in Parliament. You think is Wasco that will get a report? Well, you're right. Another says, they have financial audits on nothing. They just do as they please. Well, but it is something to think about, guys. It is something that is necessary. As much as we might say, or we might figure out that we are not going to get the answers that we are asking for, that is not a reason to stop asking the questions. We need to know these answers. We need to know. Now, guys, you know that the phone lines are open. 572-3473. Let's get your take on these situations, because Wasco is an ongoing problem in St. Lucian citizens' lives. You cannot refute that. It's an ongoing problem. People in the north, one gentleman said that I think Degazo hadn't gotten water for months. Cap Estate didn't get water for months. I was driving through Balata, I think, and I saw some trucks that were filling up and carrying water. I don't know where they were carrying water to. It was a Saturday, and those trucks, the water was splashing everywhere. There was more water on the road. And I'm like, look at this. Look at this wastage. Look at this wastage. And every day you hear something about Wasco. And if you go to Wasco's communications, every day, Wasco is sending a message saying that they have to stop water services in one area or another because they need to fix pipes. Now I ask you, all of these pipelines that Wasco is supposedly fixing, why aren't people getting water? Why is the Prime Minister saying Wasco is in dire debt, it's in dire straits, it's on life support? We're putting CIP money into only today? Anyway, I really wanted to get to this tax situation. Somebody says he's lying to St. Lucians. We accept it. Now he's heading to the USA. Good luck with that. Wow. Okay, so I really want to, before we end the program, my intention was to touch on the healthcare issue because, you know, again, in light of the fact that today is World Cancer Day, I wanted to touch on the issue of healthcare. Oh, we have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. We are on the air.
Angie, short and sweet or short and sour?
Say that again.
Both sweet and sour.
Say that again. I didn't quite get that.
I say it can be short and sweet or short and sour, or it can be both sweet and sour. Sweet and sour pork, sweet and sour chicken. I don't know what you want. Let me say this to St. Lucians.
Mm-hmm.
On an African station, Mr. Trump, U.S. President Donald Trump said, there's a country in the Caribbean named St. Lucia. And the government down there is very bad. They're bad boys. They behave very bad. They're bad boys.
Mm.
I'm going to deal with them.
Hold
on. Let me finish. And they have all their money in Dubai and other places. And I'm going to seize all their money. I'm going to take all their money. That been out, man. That been out about almost a month now, man. That been out, man. Nobody saying nothing. So we should just quiet. That been out. That been out, okay? Been out there. Don't worry. Come to deal with them. saying that there's a country in the Caribbean named St. Lucia. They're very bad. They're bad boys. They behave very bad. They have all the money. I'm going to deal with them. They have all the money in Dubai and other places. So, and I'm going to seize all the money. Take all the money. Hold on a minute. So when they tell you to put the money in Wasco and Basco and Dasco, a lot of bullshit. I gone. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Well, he did say he was going to be short and sweet. I guess that's what he meant. So, Mr. Bermuda, you left so abruptly. We never got a chance to ask where you heard those comments and how we can get them to play on the air here on Hard Talk. So if you have a link, he's calling back. Yes, I wanted to ask you that question.
Let me say this to you.
Yes.
It was said on a television station, on an African station, and when the person heard it, they called me right away on an African station. But I tried to get the person to remember which station was it. The person cannot remember.
Well,
okay, and that person is not in politics, period. But he said he rolled up on the floor. He's very rolled up on the floor, man. I only heard that. Okay, that's what I can tell you. Okay, and that's no joke. You can take it to the bank.
I'm going.
All the nonsense they tell you when Wasco did it, they pay Wasco $1.2 million per month and blah blah blah. Don't listen to all this bull. That's nonsense. Those guys are telling you anything that go in the mouth. You want to tell the headlines? And don't tell the headlines, man. This is later to the embassy again, to the US embassy. You think Trump will know they're lying to them again? You think Trump will know about that lie? The report that get to the White House, that get to Congress. They can fool you solutions. But the bad white Trump coming for them. You think it's a joke? It's a joke, you know. You think it's even solutions? This is the better one than they could chew. That's what happened there. Okay? There's a long list of things Trump coming in for. There's a long list of things done. They don't know when. They don't know when Trump coming. They don't know when. They don't know when. It might take them just like Maduro. Okay? The ATM machine. The ATM machine Maduro. And a lot of chat too. He had a lot of chat. You see where he is? You see where he is? In Islam. In our suit in Islam. Don't know this girl gets this. That peer come on, say this a peer. Why you ain't talking? You ain't talking? Don't talk. Don't tell Alan Shasta, the great man, anything. I tell you already, the only body that can save St. Lucia in the Caribbean is the great man Alan Michael Shasta. You put all of them together, they can't make one Alan Shasta. You don't tell Alan a punk. You don't tell Alan Shasta a punk. A brilliant man. Great man. Those guys are not his class. They ain't got it. Something they listen. They can't sit. Something else to talk to those guys. You're part here. But you don't understand that. Those guys can sit down. They ain't got nobody in that party that can sit down and Rubio, Vance, or the great Donald Trump can sit down and talk to. The only body you can sit down and talk to is the great man. Someone's flying to talk to the great man or invite the great man to come over. Let's respect the great man out of Michael Shasta. You're picking a lot of junk, a lot of garbage to be. Just know they're garbage, and still continue putting garbage in your assembly. You see the quiet? You see the quiet in your assembly? You see the quiet? You want to ask yourself why they're quiet? You think they stay quiet because they want to be quiet? Do you think they stay quiet because they want to be quiet and let the great man speak? Huh? Just think about it, man. All them lies, all of them lies, all of them they lie. What did Jock say? What did Jock told Pierre? Kind of Jock. You know what's kind of Jock, right?
Yes, I do.
He told Pierre, I hope you have a good U.S. defense lawyer. Because you're going to need it. And he told that long before elections. And he told the Speaker of the House, you want to meet me? Meet me in Trinidad. Bring whoever you have with you. Meet me in Trinidad. Bring whoever you have with me. And we're going to have a conference. We're going to have a talk. You can show it live on radio and TV, live. Okay?
Thank you for that.
I just gave you some. I got start charging. You know. I got start charging you. You know. Okay?
Thank you for that, caller.
You don't know those things before?
I knew some of it. I was actually.
You know some of it?
Yeah, because these things have been aired out in the public sphere for quite some time. But I was actually trying to find those comments that you were talking about because I hadn't heard about that. But I did find something very interesting that I really want to share with my listeners here.
Let me tell you somebody going to get on that station. Eugene Simmons, the great E.T., get E.T. there. And you will find out everything. You will know everything. E.T. have direct contacts. Okay? Get E.T. on that station. I'm all up going on we'll be all over. Okay? You gotta get E.T. on that station. Eugene Simmons.
Have a good day, Mr. Bermuda. Thank you.
Read my lips. I'm telling you something that's good for the station.
Have a
get
wonderful
E.T. on that
afternoon.
station.
Have a good day.
And you're gonna have lots more.
Thank you for your
Listen to
contribution.
me. Listen to me. And you're gonna even speak to Martinez and you're gonna speak to Richard.
All right. So, we heard the Prime Minister make some statements recently about the Cuban medical program. And while I was searching for those comments that the last caller was making or was alluding to, I came across a post from the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados, that I think I really need to share with my listeners here. And it reads, the United States has not recently talked to St. Lucia about international education and respects countries' sovereign decisions regarding the education of their citizens. The United States continues to call for an end to exploitation and forced labor in the illegitimate Cuban regime's overseas medical missions program. Fascinating, don't you think, St. Lucia? Because didn't the Prime Minister just say that because of U.S. pressures, he is being forced to not only terminate the medical mission, meaning send the Cuban doctors home, but he also now needs to find alternative avenues for the education of our medical students? So, inquiring minds want to know, is it that the U.S. government is saying that they don't want the medical doctors operating in St. Lucia? Or is it that they're saying, in fact, I don't even know how to phrase this, who is telling lies here? Now, I know who most of you will point a finger at. But why would the Prime Minister come to a pre-cabinet press briefing? And not just a pre-cabinet press briefing, because he made the statements for the first time at the Second World Congress on ethnic and racial disparities in healthcare. That's where he initially made the statement that our students will no longer be allowed to study in Cuba due to pressures from the United States government. So, why would the Prime Minister make that statement? This is very fishy, St. Lucia. There must be more to this than meets the eye. Somebody's telling me, you're late on that letter, my dear. Why would the Prime Minister mislead the public in such a way? And I still have that video. Somebody saying that's why I said he's heading to the USA with his lies. Because I did see that comment. I have the video right here where the Prime Minister is being asked at the Congress, and I'm going to play it because I don't want you guys to think that I'm making this up, where he's being asked by persons attending that meeting about the health issues in St. Lucia. Let's hear what he has to say. Maybe I misunderstood. Let's just play the clip.
In terms of the hospital development and your vision for healthcare here in St. Lucia.
Well, as you know, we just commissioned a new hospital, St. Jude Hospital in the south of the country. We borrowed $50 million from the Saudi Fund for Development, the SOD, and we got it on reasonable terms. But that just completed the physical building. The building is ready, but we have to commission it. And to commission it, I'll give a little history. There was a fire in 2011, that destroyed 2009. A fire in 2009 that destroyed a hospital called St. Jude. The hospital, it was also that was run by some Catholic nuns in collaboration with the government, and it served the south of the country well. So St. Lucia well. There was an unfortunate fire, and from 2009, successive governments have tried to rebuild it. Many governments, in fact, many administrations tried, stopped, tried, started again. Unfortunately, I was the most lucky, I completed it. So right now, we are trying to commission it. To commission, because it's a state-of-the-art 100-bed hospital. It's got all the modern facilities, but you have to get the equipment in. And I want to tell you something. We have a very dedicated group of health professionals in this country. And when I see Dr. Joseph, I want to give him a round of applause. Dr. King is not there? I hope I said all right. So you see, we have a number of number of dedicated doctors and nurses and health personnel. In fact, St. Lucia has a lot of dedicated. I see Javed Samuel here, also the Rhodes Scholar. So our issue now is to commission it. I mean, we want to commission it at the highest possible level. So we've started the process, but within that process, we also need personnel. And I have a list from the St. Jude also that tells me that I need to spend about $50 million for personnel only. That's leaving out the equipment. So you see my problem. And my health and security levy, it only brings $40 million. And my health and security levy nearly caused me to lose the elections. If the health and security levy is a tax that we have on goods and services except food and items that we have no VAT on. And that brings in about $40 million. And it costs us right now, as we speak, it costs us for health services alone in this country, it costs about $175 million per year. Health services alone, at the level that it is, and at a level that needs to be improved. So what are we doing? We have the St. Jude Hospital, and we have the OKE Hospital, the hospital that was a gift from the people of Europe to St. Lucia. Again, a gift that came to St. Lucia when Kenny Anthony was Prime Minister and when our party was in government. That hospital stayed not working or not commissioned for a while. We formed a group of people that they call commissioning something, I don't know the word, led by Dr. Stephen King to get this hospital going. For reasons best known to who was doing it, that remained rather dormant. And actually stopped in 2016 when the government changed. And Dr. Cato told you that governments have been changing in St. Lucia from 2006. We have 5-year cycles. So change in 2006, change in 2011, change in 2026, change in 2016, change again in 2021. But did not change in 2025, that's what I'm here. That's the first time from 2006 governments have not changed. So in 2016, the government changed and that stopped. And then COVID came. And the hospital had to be hurriedly put together by St. Lucians, by local experts. Hurriedly had to put the hospital together. And so the OKU was never properly commissioned. That's a fact. As we speak, there's equipment in boxes in places that haven't been opened because you can't bring anybody because it was a rush. It had to be commissioned for COVID and begin to pay. So we have an issue at OKU, basically emergency services, because people always complain about the emergency services. But when you get into the hospital itself, for the equipment that they have and for the work they have to do, I must say they give a very good service at hospitals, and they need to be applauded for that. In fact, it surprises many people to know that I have a grandson and he was born at OKU. In fact, my opponents dreamed that it wasn't true. But my grandson was indeed born at OKU and delivered by local doctors and local nurses, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But the OKU, the issue of size, space, because the original thing was a hospital with 5 fingers, only 4 was built, and the 5th one is going to start this year. So hopefully by next year we should have the 5th finger built. In terms of, but the government emphasis has been on primary health care, and we are embarking on a UHC program, universal health care. And you know more, you from the United States know much better than me what UHC the issue of UNC. You had Obamacare, which caused, I think in the great United States, could not put together a universal health care program. You can imagine what I have here. And because you had the issues with Obamacare, all this kind of issues. But one thing that we're trying to have a universal health care system, but emphasizing on the primary health care. So what we're doing is that at the health centers now, we are dealing with at least being able to do the necessary testing. So you have PNC tests, you have other different tests, we have free maternal care for parents, but you must be in the system. And then we give people over 80 some sort of care. Hopefully, the idea is that we have a universal health care for the entire country. So we started with saying you can get PSC testing, you can get cancer screening. We just started what do you call it? Mammograms, etc. So we're doing that. The idea is to get to expand it so we can get a situation where at the primary level we identify all these illnesses. And by doing that, we're smarting our health centers. So next week we're going to be smarting. We're going to open 12 centers that we've made smart health center in that we're using water harvesting, we're using different sorts of technologies to get health centers functioning properly with the health system. But we have a big problem. Many of our doctors got trained in Cuba, and now the great United States have said we can't do that any longer. So there's a major problem that I have to face.
So there you have it, the proof that the Prime Minister of St. Lucia is lying to the nation. Not just to the nation, because like I said to you, this was a World Congress on racial and ethnic health disparities. Yeah. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia stood up in a room of healthcare professionals from all over the world and made I cannot say an erroneous statement. That would mean that he made a mistake. But I have to tell it like it is, because according to the U.S. Embassy, Prime Minister Pierre is telling lies. I really didn't want to say it like that. But when the embassy says that they have not spoken to the government of St. Lucia about students training in Cuba, where that they don't interfere with sovereign nations' choices when it comes to educating their people, refuting essentially the Prime Minister's claims outright. You have to tell it like it is. You have to tell it like it is. Now, you guys are really not giving me a chance to go over this tax thing, are you? Somebody is saying, yes, I have read an article that the U.S. says the St. Lucia Prime Minister is misleading concerning the students studying in Cuba. Another one is saying, PJP, I believe you are saying so much lies. You even believe your own lies. Papa Mat Boje. Somebody says, what are they clapping about? PJP is lying to them. Another says, Angie, what protection Pip has on, because he is lying to the nation every day and some people are not calling on him to stop. Another says, PJP, you will pay for your lies. Another says, listeners, I know you all want to hear the Prime Minister, but he makes my ears hurt. So I'm off my phone for now. Really? Really? That was so mean. Another says, even putting Obama in his lies. Another one says, woy Angie moi lastan misier. Maybe it was another cabinet, not Pierre's cabinet. You guys, I had to bring you the proof. I couldn't just say that without bringing you any evidence. This is not how we do it on Hard Talk. I have to give you the evidence. Now, it's not my fault that the Prime Minister made these statements. I didn't write the document for him to read to these people. I don't work in the Prime Minister's office. I can simply tell you what he says. Somebody is saying, I'm so ashamed as a St. Lucia. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go to let's switch topics for a bit, because I really want to get into this tax amnesty, and I think you guys need a break from listening to the Prime Minister speak. So here we go. At the latest sitting of the House, and as he promised on previous at a previous pre-cabinet press briefing, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia said that he was going to introduce new tax measures and bring tax relief to the St. Lucian public. Somebody's asking, did he hear these at a kitchen cabinet? I don't, you know what? I'm not reading anything. We're going to the tax. So he's made amendments to the personal income tax legislation of the country, and these amendments were made, they were announced yesterday at the sitting of Parliament. And let me just read this article to you. You know, my go-to place, it's the St. Lucia Daily Post. And it says here, the government has moved to significantly ease the tax burden on citizens with a series of amendments to the Personal Income Tax Act. This was unveiled during the February 3rd sitting of Parliament by Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Philip J. Pierre. Presenting the legislative changes in the House, Pierre said the amendments are designed to provide targeted relief to families, young professionals, and retirees, while promoting a stronger culture of savings and investment across St. Lucia. So the new amendments are, there's an increase in the child allowance. So the maximum claimable amount per child under the age of 18 has been doubled. It has been raised from $2,500 to $5,000. And the Prime Minister says the adjustment is intended to better support families facing the rising cost of raising children. Significant relief has also been introduced for those caring for elderly relatives. So the dependent relative allowance was $350. It is now $5,000. A move, Pierre said, reflects the high cost of caring for aging family members. Mortgage interest relief has also been expanded. Taxpayers are now able to claim up to $40,000. The Prime Minister noted that the previous legislation capped the amount, limiting relief particularly for young professionals. And under the revised act, individuals without children or dependent relatives can now fully claim their mortgage interest. And he says this is offering greater support to those in the early stages of their careers. The amendment also allow taxpayers to claim up to $10,000 in credit union shares, And he says this measure is aimed at fostering a savings culture, promoting portfolio diversification, and strengthening financial resilience, particularly among the younger citizens. And he says the pension income now has full exemption from personal income tax. But I want to take a deeper dive into these tax amendments. Guys, I want to take you back. I want to take you back to 2021. Somebody saying more like a Chinatown or SNS cabinet. Jesus. Let's go back to 2021, guys. Do you remember when the Prime Minister said that yes, somebody's asking me to repeat. Yes, the child allowance is no, sorry, that would be the personal dependent allowance. Hold on, let me right, so the dependent relative allowance has been increased from $350 to $5,000. So, do you recall in 2021 when when the Prime Minister campaigned on the premise that he will be, what was it? I want to say the exact words. I don't want to say the wrong thing. He made a campaign promise, and it was that persons who make less than or equal to $4,000 a month will pay no income tax. But look at the numbers here, guys. I didn't see that amendment in the personal income tax revision. Why didn't he deliver on his promise? We've been waiting for that for 5 years. But look at the numbers. This sounds so beautifully packaged. It sounds so great. It sounds so pie in the sky. That's the phrase I'm looking for. So let's look at the child allowance. It used to be $2,500. And it's now $5,000. But guys, these personal income tax amendments you have to be able to be in a certain income bracket to take advantage of that. And the average St. Lucian cannot take advantage of that. Now, when I heard that one in particular, a few light bulbs started going off in my head. And I'm so happy I played that last clip, because you recall in the last clip, the Prime Minister said he has a grandson. You recall he said his grandson was born at OKEU? Think about it. Who exactly is this $5,000 per child tax exemption going to benefit? Because we would recall, the Prime Minister also told us a couple of years ago that his daughter has a low-level, entry-level job at the CIU, making a pittance of, how much was it again? Do you guys remember? Was it 6,000 US a month? Remind me, guys, remind me. I know you guys know the figure. But he said she was making a pittance of only $6,000, right? US a month at a low-level, entry-level job. Isn't that what he said? Guys, you're not having my back on this one, you know. Y'all are not having my back. Only 6,000 US. And out of that $6,000, she can now claim $5,000 for child allowance. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Is this going to benefit me? Now, I admit, I am totally ignorant when it comes to filing taxes. I am totally ignorant. But it seems to me that every time this Prime Minister makes an amendment to any law and provide any relief to anyone, it is for some personal agenda. You recall when he changed the laws? And by the way, did you hear the question? The clip I just played, did you hear the question that was posed to the Prime Minister? That question was posed by world-renowned St. Lucian doctor, surgeon, Dr. Cato Lorenzin. The latest, well, he's now Sir Cato Lorenzin because he was knighted by the Prime Minister recently. We're making it make sense, people. Now, you recall when they changed the law and allowed third-party nationals, or not third-party, I'm saying it wrong, when they allowed the grandchildren of St. Lucian nationals to file for citizenship because they wanted Asia Lorenzin to join the St. Lucia Olympic team. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Let's go to the aging, the dependent relatives. So it used to be that persons who had dependent relatives with their mom, well, whoever who are their dependents, they could only claim $350. Now they can claim $5,000. But think about it. For you to claim $5,000, you need to make $5,000. You need to be making $5,000. Because if you don't have $5,000 to spend, if like me, you make less than $4,000 a month, how much can I claim? Because again, totally ignorant of how these tax thingies work. Totally ignorant. I just know you pay PAYE. That's all I know. Totally ignorant. And I am not going to lie and say I don't know. If the Prime Minister of St. Lucia doesn't know, it's not Angie you expect to know. Somebody says amendments for Pierre's FFF. I'm just asking the questions here. Mortgage interest relief up to $40,000. Who among us, and I'm talking about people in my generation and the young people now, who amongst us makes, well, how many of us have a mortgage? How many of us can afford a mortgage? Something to think about, guys, something to think about. Well, the credit union shares, that I can understand. And to me, honestly, the way I see it, the credit union shares part, I think that's the only one that is going to benefit average St. Lucians. At least we got one. Because I can tell you, a lot of St. Lucians are no longer saving in the banks. They've completely circumnavigated the bank system and are now saving their money in credit unions. So I think that one will help. But these tax amendments look nice. They're packaged beautifully. But my question is, how many average St. Lucians, not the ones that are ministers, not the ones that are already making pretty high-end salaries. How many of us down here, the ones on the ground, the less than $4,000 a month salary earners, how many of us can really benefit from these tax exemptions? Why didn't you include that part in the tax amendment? Because you said, and I quote, persons who make $4,000 or less will not be required to pay any income tax. And several St. Lucians, thousands of St. Lucians in 2021 voted for that. More money in their pocket. A notion that you stole, by the way, from the UWB. You remember the ching ching ching? Yes. The ching 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 in your pocket. That's what he promised you. That's what Alan Chasney promised you. And Philip J. Pierre appropriated it. Why didn't you see it fit to give us in the lower income bracket, us, yes, I put myself in it, us. Why didn't you see fit, Mr. Pierre, to give us? Because there are way more people in that lower income bracket than those that are up there. Were you simply making tax amendments so that your new ministers can enjoy their newfound wealth? Is that what this is? Because if I could have benefited from this, I would have. But this doesn't change anything for the average St. Lucians. St. Lucian, this is simply a tax break for the rich, so that the rich can become more rich and the poor will stay poor. And you say you are putting people first? One question, Mr. Prime Minister. Who exactly are these people that you are putting first? Because it's not me. It's not me. In fact, I don't even believe that it is any of the people in your constituency that you are putting first. Not with this legislation. Or were you simply trying to allow daddy's girl to save more money now that she has added expenses? Inquiring minds would like to know. That's it for today, folks. I'm leaving you with so many things to consider. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the man said he is a mystery. But, like I said, all mysteries can be unraveled. These new tax laws not going to benefit the majority of St. Lucians. It's simply tax breaks for the rich. Sorry to say, sorry to burst your bubble, the people that were saying Alan Shastey will never, 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 never. Sorry for those persons who voted for STEP. Sorry to those persons who voted for permanent jobs, permanent jobs in the public service, the 600 of them. You guys, y'all were not invited to the party. And the next time the Prime Minister says putting people first, raise your hand and ask him, who exactly are these people that you are referring to? Because that answer is going to be a doozy, guys. I can assure you of that. It's definitely not you. And it's definitely not me. Have a wonderful day, guys. Somebody's saying, Andrew, be strong tomorrow. Another is saying, that's the decree that went out. Putting people first. He was speaking to the elites, not the poor people. Somebody's saying, new taxes are on the way, and I agree. Have a wonderful day, St. Lucia. Take care. Stay safe. And remember, the midday news update will not be aired. If I can make it, guys, I will. But I'm guessing, to be on the safe side, the midday news update will not be aired tomorrow. This is to facilitate my attendance at the funeral service of the late, great, legendary Lisa Joseph. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for your contributions. See you tomorrow, right here on 107.7 FM. And guys, I am going to look into this issue with the radio for you guys. I don't know what the problem is. Everything is showing up on my end, but I will have our technicians look into it as soon as possible. Bye bye.